AM 850 WTAR. And people ask me all the time, so who's that? What's that music you play at the beginning of the show? This is Brad Paisley, who, by the way, is going to be in concert in Roanoke next Friday night if you want to take that nice little trip down 460. And wouldn't it be cool if you could do that in a great car? That's what we're talking about, by the way, coming up over the next hour. I'm Dave Parker. Hey, we got some snow in the forecast, and the latest forecast from the National Weather Service is like 1 to 2 inches of snow. On the south side, maybe 1 to 3 south of the state line. It's going to begin overnight into tomorrow morning. So for all you parents and maybe grandparents who have to pitch in, be prepared for school closings and delays. It is likely coming tomorrow. But the good news is it does warm up as we head towards the weekend. And that is a great thing for this guy who's sitting next to me. Hey, we're talking about cars this hour. And at some point in your life, I guarantee you, almost all of you have at least been in a car. And when you get in one that's just got that feel to it, I tell you, it is a feeling like none other. We're talking with Dan Short from DRS Phantomworks, and they're based right here in Norfolk. And they have, I think Dan's going to tell me, you got the biggest plant or biggest facility of its sort on the planet, don't you?
That's correct. We're expanding now into our new facilities, real conveniently located right on Hampton Boulevard. Mm-hmm. Right as you come through the train tunnel coming from the Ghent side, it's the first building on the right. So it's very conveniently located right between Ghent and ODU. And
people can check out what you do, by the way, on your website at Phantomworks.com, and Phantom would be with an F. So that would be like the true phonics of the word.
Well, actually, believe it or not, the spelling of phantom, the original spelling in the Old English was with an F.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where we picked it up from. It's the original root of the word.
Phantomworks.com. Their phone number, 216-1745, 216-1745. I get so many questions about, with the weather showing glimmers of hope for warming up this weekend, and I know a lot of people get excited as we get towards spring and your new facility. Before we get into that, what exactly do you do at Phantomworks?
What we offer is a full-service car restoration, repair, and modification facility. Now, in kind of a little bit broader terms, what that means is if you own an old car, we can do anything you want, whether it's repair it from an accident damage, problem and do the paint and body work. We can do the chrome. We can do just the seasonal maintenance. We can get it up and running if you've had it set for, 3 or 4 years and you haven't had it out and you need to get the fuel system sort of refreshed and things done. If your street rod is overheating, if you're looking for a classic car, we can help you with that in many ways. If you've inherited one and it hasn't run in 30 years, we can do anything from get it running to make it brand new. So really what we do for you is if you have an old car, and I would define really, unfortunately, anything, cars that were new when I was a kid are now the old classics, but certainly in the 80s or newer, anything you want done with that car, we can do for you.
So are we talking, but what about if somebody has, like, they've got this Ford from like the early to mid 90s and they really like that car and they want to have something done, and I'm sure you get those questions all the time, and they want to have it refurbished or whatever. Can you do that at all too?
Actually, this is something that we've sort of been I won't say coerced into, but yes, we've actually been moving into. That originally we started out as cars from 1973 and earlier, dating all the way back into the 20s and the teens. And that really is what we do a lot of. Mm-hmm. But what we've discovered over the last couple of years is the cars from the mid-70s through about the early to mid-90s, very few places will work on, because it's sort of that car in the in-between era. It's too old to be new and too new to be old. It falls right in that gray area. So we've actually become sort of by default the shop to do most of those cars too. So yes, absolutely. We're doing the 70s, 80s, and 90s as well.
So chances are when people see these antique cars, and I guess when people think antique, they think of something that looks like, the original Henry Ford made it. So it's from the 20s or 30s. Chances are that when people see that going down the road, or maybe they see these great car shows at any of the venues around Hampton Roads with cars from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, some of those cars probably were worked on at Phantomworks, weren't they?
I'll tell you anymore. When you go to a car show, a very large and growing percentage of the cars at all the local car shows have been to our shop, whether it's for paint and body work or for complete restorations or just some mechanical refreshments. But yes, we're certainly reaching out and touching more and more cars all the time.
So I mentioned that we got some warmer weather on the way for the weekend, 50s for Saturday and Sunday. And, by this point in the year, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter, as the Beatles say. You get that, 1,000-yard stare in a 10-foot room, and people get antsy. They want to start working on stuff, especially their cars, right?
Oh, absolutely. And this is an ideal time to take that car that's been, put away for a year or two, that maybe doesn't have, doesn't need a full restoration, but you just need to get it out and ready for the springtime. This is the time to do it. Everybody waits until, the really warm days start hitting in April, and then suddenly you find out, well, there's a 4-week backlog to get your car done because everybody else thought of it at the same time. This is the time. If you need a few weeks worth of work done in your car, some things to get ready for the road, you do it now. By the time the weather really breaks and we're in the 60s and hitting on some of these 70s in another month, you'll be ready to go.
Now, when people think of warm weather in cars, a lot of people are thinking of putting the top back. I mean, that would seem like an item that would need work from time to time, when they've got those cloth tops.
Sure.
Those aren't items that last forever, obviously.
No, they don't. And in addition to not lasting forever, during the winter, a lot of people will put their convertible tops down. And convertible tops, actually, most people don't know this, but they should be stored up and in the full-up position in a garage. That's the ideal way to store a convertible. When you put the tops down for months on end, the windows tend to get folded and fixed in a certain position. The fabric can get bunched up, and not only will many of the wrinkles not come out, but in some cases you'll start cracking. Either the vinyl or the windows or the cloth will get chafed, and suddenly your convertible isn't quite so watertight and airtight anymore. So again, great time, and of course we service all convertibles. We do convertible tops from anything from the 1910s to the 2000s.
Can you make a non-convertible car into a convertible?
We've done that. Yes, yeah. Yes. We've done. There's several different options. You can either make it a Carson top car. You can make it. There's several different options, but absolutely, we can take not. I won't say any car, because structurally some cars were never designed to be convertibles. But with enough engineering, I guess anything could be done. But yeah, many cars can be made into convertibles, and some are naturally begging for it, and it makes sense to do it.
Our guest this hour is Dan Short from DRS Phantomworks. He's got a brand new facility there on Hampton Boulevard in Norfolk. Their website is phantomworks.com, 216-1745. And while cars are typically something that people want to get in and drive around, a lot of people like to go in and look at things. If somebody wanted to stop by and check out your facility for some reason, is that something that you guys have looked at as well?
Oh, we welcome that. Okay. And I'll make a correction. It's new is it's hardly a new facility. In fact, it was built between World War I and World War II.
Okay.
So it's actually quite an old facility, but of course it's brand new to us. We are in the throes of renovating that facility right now. It's quite an extensive job to do when a building's over 50,000 square feet and is 80 years old. It takes a lot of work. So people can come down and see what we're doing with the building. The cars, we're starting to move cars in. We've got about a dozen cars in the facility now, and over the next 60 days, we'll be bringing in probably another 50 cars in different states of restoration, many of them fully restored. So we're going to have quite the museum of cars dating back to the 20s, and we're talking not just about, a couple random Pintos and a Mustang coupe. We're talking about Shelby Cobras, Shelby GT350s, ZL1 Camaros, 63 split window Corvettes, 57 Corvettes, many of the most prestigious cars that this country has ever produced, and some foreign cars that are also extremely prestigious.
There are so many different models and makes and so many different variations, but the platform, I guess, is generally the same. You got four wheels, there's a steering wheel, there's a chassis, and unless it's a convertible, a roof. So I would think that the science behind what you do, because it truly is a science and all the mechanics, do you have to vary it up much from car to car, or is it somewhat the same process?
Well, it's a mixture of both. There is certainly a great many similarities, as you pointed out very, very aptly. The fundamental systems in all cars are very similar. It's all the nuances that make them interesting, and then it's the parts that is the most challenging, piece of the puzzle to solve. Because even though an engine in a DeSoto or an engine in a DeLorean or a Ford, they're all internal combustion engines. There is a big difference in where you get the parts for those engines and who can do the machine work on them and putting them together. So there are some similarities, and fundamentally all cars are essentially the same. There are tremendous differences in putting those pieces together and finding the pieces and putting them together to bring that 30 or 50 or 100-year-old car back to life like it was when it was new.
I think most people, their familiarity, their exposure to what you do, which I find fascinating because there just aren't many people I meet who are in the line of work that you are. And it sounds like very few people on the planet who've have able to put together this facility that you have. But I think most people exposure to it is through some show on television, where it's some guys and they rapidly do this car, and within an hour show, all of a sudden, boom, they've got this beautiful car. It's not like that in the real world, is it?
No. The process, I both love and hate shows like Overhauling. I love them because they've done an absolutely wonderful job in bringing sort of an audience attention to classic cars, and they've gotten a lot of people into this as a passion and a hobby. And so I have the ultimate respect for Chip Foose. In fact, I met him out at the SEMA show this year. Great guy, and I love what he's done for the automotive world. Now, the bad part. They make it look incredibly easy, and a lot of people think, well, heck, they do it in an hour. Well, the cars on Overhauling, from the date a car is identified until it's actually delivered to the owner, it's a 9-month process. They don't tell you that, and they don't show you that. They only show you one little slice in the center of the process. But so it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. But yeah, it's not as easy as it looks. And, these shows, they'll say, well, here, and we're going to install the differential, and then they show you the next scene. Well, now that we're buttoning it up, what they didn't show you is maybe 3 or 4 or 5 hours of cutting and fabrication to get everything lined up to get it in that custom application.
Why do most people get their cars restored?
This is almost as personal a decision as any other in someone's life. I'll tell you what I generally think is a wrong decision to restore a car, and that is someone will say, I've got this old car, I want to fix it, I want to have you fix it up so I can sell it and make more money on it. Although that is certainly possible, that's only with cars with very, very specific lineages. If you had a 53 Corvette, a 63 Copo, Z06 car, something like that, there are some lineages that would lend themselves to that. But for the most part, the right reason, I think, to restore a car is that car means something to you. It transcends transportation. If all you want is transportation, go out and buy a new Escort or a Focus or one of the newer cars. An old car, it's a time capsule. It's a way into your past, into perhaps your family's past. It might have been your grandfather's car. There is a feel to an old car that is completely different than a new car. And for me, it is like a magic. And for a lot of people who feel that same magic when they get in these old cars, that to me is the right reason to restore a car. There is a passion and emotion to that car that brings you back to a different day, a better day in your life, and those are the people that I absolutely love working with.
AM 850 WTAR. It's not impossible for this guy, Dan Short, DRS Phantomworks, 216-1745. If you've got questions about a car you have, you're interested in restoring it, that's the number to call, 216-1745. Check out their website. Great info there at Phantom, with an F, Phantomworks.com. Now, we'll go ahead and we'll open up the phones, but I want to direct this in a certain way. This is not the click and clack show. So don't call up and say, hey, spark plug is, how do I change that? Or I'm getting this rattle. If you've got questions about restoring your car, what the process for that would be, we'd love to hear from you at 627-9827, 627-WTAR. And if you've got questions about an old classic car you have, dial away. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the whole process, why choose Fantomworks. That's coming up next right here on AM 850 WTAR.
Moving can be stressful for every member of the family, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, moving can be a walk in the park with New Bell Moving and Storage, agent for Atlas Van Lines. Call them for a free, no-obligation estimate. From the first meeting with your New Bell representative till the day you move into your new home, you'll be doggone glad you called 625-7631. 625-7631 for New Bell, agent for Atlas Van Lines.
Mommy, New Bell is here.
Get ready to rev up those engines and tune in Sunday mornings from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Motorcycle Mania on AM 850 WTAR. Whatever you ride, wherever you ride, this show is for you. Harleys, sport bikes, metrics, and choppers. It's Motorcycle Mania, Hampton Road's only show dedicated to those that have a need for two-wheeled speed. Host Mike Imprevento will get the party started each Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Listen to Motorcycle Mania on AM 850 WTAR and enjoy the ride of your life.
Hi, I'm Dick O'Lenage, owner of Spectrum Printing, home of the happy printers. And happy is part of my DNA. It's who I am. That's why my tagline works. I've been asked to do another marketing session for the Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce. My last one in October was absolutely amazing. It was even extended for a second session. So I'm doing it again. It's Thursday, February 10th, and it's called Putting Your DNA in Your Marketing. It's the first step every business should do to align your marketing with your personality. I know this may sound crazy because I am the happy printer, but you need to do this before you do any printing. It's true. This should be your first step in every marketing effort. Call and reserve your seat today. 664-2504. That's 664-2504. Hope to see you there.
If you want to see the future of automobiles, go to the North American Auto Show in Detroit. For the latest in consumer electronics, the big show is in Las Vegas. To see the future of home furnishings, this Friday, the National Furniture Show is coming to the Dump. See the new lines of furniture from America's great names before they're available in stores. Even better, save up to 70% off the price. Leather sofas from Italy's most prestigious designer. They'll sell later this year for $1,100 in New York, London, and Paris. At Friday's big furniture show, those same leather sofas will sell for $488. Once a year, the best names in furniture send their one-of-a-kind design prototypes to the Dump. The new lines and colors, the new fabrics and leathers, all up to 70% off the prices you'll see months from now in the fancy stores. Your one chance to see the new sofas and sectionals from California's leading designers, up to 70% off the prices on Rodeo Drive. One-of-a-kind bedroom and dining pieces, handmade in solid elm, pine, mahogany, and teak. Once a year, your chance to own the new lines of furniture before anyone else, up to 70% less than anyone will ever pay. When the National Furniture Show comes to town, one weekend only at the Dump.
So do you guys play music in the shop?
Music is sometimes a bone of contention. I love the old classics, and I keep everything from the 30s to the 50s playing. Some of the guys, of course, like some classic rock. Actually, Bob is the primary radio station that plays. So yeah, sometimes
It is interesting to find out what people listen to at work and what motivates them, but it's something that helps people, helps keep them going throughout the day. And those people at that place, by the way, would be DRS Phantomworks. Dan Short is our guest this hour. Phantomworks.com is their website. That's with an F, by the way. 216-1745. If you've got any questions at all about a car you'd like to have restored, maybe tell a story about a car you did have restored, we'd love to hear from you. 627-WTAR, 627-9827. And they've got a brand new, well, we say new, but it's new to them, new facility, Hampton Boulevard there in Norfolk. And when during the break you mentioned the city of Norfolk, I would imagine that when you have a facility of that size, you've got to work with the city somewhat on that, don't you?
A tremendous amount. When we set up our original facility, which is in the industrial section of Norfolk, it was a little bit of a struggle, I'll be honest. It was, I felt like I was kicking and clawing the whole way to get things set up. And fortunately, a friend of mine gave me a point of contact and said, I think if you call the city, they might just be willing to help you out with this. I'm working with the city planning commission. Amazing the amount of help these guys have given me. So suddenly the city's become a great friend of mine. And they have my sincerest thanks and respect at this point for all the work they've done in helping us move into this massive building.
Let's head to John in Chesapeake. Hey, John, right now you're live on the line with Dan Short from DRS Phantomworks. Hi, John.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. What's your comment or question?
Just a quick question for you. I got a 69 Camaro Z28. It's a clone. The original engine in it's a V6. I took that out, put a 327 small block in it. And I bought it a couple of years ago as a project car for me and my son to work on and play with. We've done about all we've wanted to do, and I've played with it quite a bit. And so my question to you is, I have no idea what the value is on it, and trying to figure out if you were to sell it, where would you go to list it, and what would be a fair price for it?
Well, does the car run at this point?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's probably about 92% restored, I guess.
Okay, so is it a car that would be considered, when you say it's 92%, is it complete enough that someone buying it would think this is a finished car?
Absolutely. Yeah, you could drive it from east to west coast, no problems.
Okay, then of course, the first one that comes to mind, Craigslist is actually really good if you can get through all of the, people that spam you on Craigslist when you advertise something. eBay's another option, but I'll tell you, I'm actually a fan of selling things locally. So in sticking with local venues, you've of course got the Tidewater Trading Post, and I would offer you assistance. We're not quite ready. We're about 60 to 90 days out, but we'll actually be offering consignment sales for classic cars where we can display your car, right on Hampton Boulevard and in a showroom of classic cars. So, if you're in a hurry, I would say Craigslist and the Tidewater Trading Post are actually really great options. eBay, that's I'm not a particular fan of buying cars over the internet. Too many horror stories. So for the horror stories of other people, that may affect you as well.
Okay, I appreciate the comments. Thanks.
Absolutely.
John, thank you very much. And Pete in Norfolk, you're coming up next. Hold on. John mentioned, hey, I've been working on this car. Do you ever have like an interactive process with some of your clients where they'll do some work and then they hand it over to you, or maybe they come in and actually work in the shop with you? Is that possible?
Well, I can't have them work at the shop because of insurance and things like that. But absolutely, we transport cars back and forth. Many people want to do some of the processes they can. They like building their own engines. They want to drop their drivetrain in. They want to do some brake work. I welcome that. It works really well. There are some of the processes that are a little harder to split out, but for the most part, we do a tremendous amount of our restoration work in concert with the owner. They do part, we do part, and it lowers the price for them and gets them far more involved in understanding their own cars.
Our guest this hour, Dan Short, DRS Fantomworks, and calling in on our studio line, 627 WTAR, is Pete in Norfolk. Hello, Pete.
Yeah, hi, Dave. Hi, Dan.
Good evening.
Hey, I got a problem with my wife's car. It's a 1965 Chevrolet. She got it from her mother. She inherited it from her mother. And for the last 15 years, I've been taking care of this car. I'm sort of the steward for it. Now, there are two issues with the car. One is having some corrosion around the windshield. And number two, I'm having a tough time getting the transmission fixed. It's a two-speed power glide. Of course, I am talking about a 1965 Chevrolet Corvair convertible. and I was wondering if you could help me with the transmission.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we can also do the windshield. The windshield would require removal of the glass and actually rebuilding the frame, and you've probably found out by now that nobody builds that metal. It has to be custom built, so we can do that. As far as the transmission, whether you want to bring it in and hand it to me, or whether you want to bring in the car and have me pull it, or as an option...
because exactly has been the issue, because a lot of transmission shops say if I carry in the transmission, they'll work on it. They don't seem to be willing to remove the transmission from the car for me.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I prefer to remove it, and the primary reason for that is sometimes you can get some hints as to what the malfunction is in the transmission. It's really hard to find out what's going on with the transmission when someone hands it to you. We'll do it that way, but I prefer to pull it out. But are you wanting the 2-speed back in, or would you prefer a turbo 350 back in there?
We'd like to keep it as stock as possible. My wife gets a real kick out of driving the car during the summertime.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been taking care of it, but taking out the engine and the transmission out of a rear-engine car is a little too much for me.
Oh, sure, absolutely. In fact, we could, if you brought the car in the morning, we could have it out by the afternoon and probably have your engine or your transmission back in next week and running again.
Okay, I'll look you up.
Okay, very good. Thank you now.
All right, Pete, and save you a little time, I'll go ahead and give you the number right now, Pete. It's 216-1745, 216-1745. And since, Pete kind of brought up a comparative thing, said, I've called these other people and they wanted this, and why use Phantomworks?
Well, I would say the biggest advantage beyond what I think is we are... And I don't want to put a bad spin on anybody else, but we have never had a single customer file any sort of a complaint about dishonesty ever about us. So I mean, we have an extremely good reputation. So I think trust is a big one. But even more than that, we don't farm out, subcontract, play the who shot John game. As Pete just mentioned, people don't mind rebuilding a transmission, but they want it out of the car first. It doesn't matter what you need done. If you needed the transmission pulled out, the engine pulled out, a different engine put in, I'm never going to say to you, well, I'll do this part of the process, but not the other. Regardless of what the customer needs, we are a full service, and so they never have to worry about who did what and who's integrating it and who to blame when it's done. If there's anything wrong, they have one person and one phone number to talk to, and that's me.
AM 850 WTAR.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain.
So this is the kind of music you like to play in the shop?
Yeah, I love this. I love it.
You broke my will, but what a thrill.
We're on the air, by the way.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's just part of the show.
Yeah, this is, to me, the 30s, 40s, and then into the 50s. I think the golden era of music and the golden era of cars collided very nicely during that period.
DRS Fantomworks. Our guest this hour is Dan Short, Phantomworks.com. 216-1745. That's their number. And once again, like John and Pete, if you've got specific questions about an old car and you've got some work you'd like to do on it, maybe you've tried, you've got some questions, and maybe you'd like to pass the baton, give us a call at 627-9827, 627-WTAR. We're back with Phantomworks right after this on AM 850 WTAR.
Turf & Garden, Tidewater's leading distributor of turf and landscape supplies for over 80 years. Turf & Garden is the developer of Tidewater's best blend of grass seed for the area and the new Southern Belle Hybrid Power. They carry the most complete line of water systems, hunter and rain bird irrigation, and pump and well supplies. They can assist in irrigation design and troubleshooting problems as well. Turf & Garden has a complete line of professional equipment, Walker mowers, and leaders in zero-turn mowers, Dixie choppers, as well as Dixon, the economically priced zero-turn mower. They have Shindawa and Echo. Turf & Garden's turf department carries a complete line of seed, fertilizers, herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, and much more. And they're the proud supplier of Nutri-Green, the finest soil amendment available in the industry. Drop by any one of 4 Turf & Garden locations in the Hampton Roads area: Chesapeake, Grafton, Suffolk, and the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Visit turfandgardeninc.com for the location nearest you.
Hello, this is Rush Limbaugh. I'm a connoisseur of restaurants, folks. I like to eat out, What a surprise. I've never been in a restaurant like this. They've actually redone a church, and it is done with style and class. I went to Freemason Abbey because the people who run it sent me a nice letter, and I couldn't help but go. I was intrigued. And when you walk in, you think the food in this place has got to be good, and it is. And the atmosphere contributes to that, too, because it's so unique a place. It's at the corner, by the way, of Freemason and Bush in downtown Norfolk. I had a real treat. You'll enjoy the people, the service, and the food at the Freemason Abbey. Prime rib, lobster on Wednesday night. You can't go wrong. Freemason Abbey. Anytime, lunch or dinner, 7 days a week. They're at the corner of Freemason and Bush in downtown Norfolk.
A complete lobster dinner, only $16.95 every Wednesday at Freemason Abbey. Freemason Abbey at the corner of Bush and Freemason in downtown Norfolk. Call 622-3966.
People are worried about their health, but are they worried about their pet's health?
Geez, Trixie, you're looking better these days. Are you on that Catkins diet?
My owner has switched to the Pet Way. It's all natural, and I take less trips to the vet now. Jealous?
Jealous? Please. Less trips to the vet, but more trips to the litter box? I'm not dealing with that just for a bland taste.
Bland? Never. All the food is nutritious and delicious. You can order a free sample online at thepetway.com. The Pet Way can also be found in pet grooming stores. Just call 692-5647.
Thepetway.com, eh? My owner's been having car trouble. Do they deliver?
Delivery is always free, so you can either order online or call 692-5647.
692-5647. Gee, Trix, I wish I knew how to use a phone.
Call now or go to thepetway.com to place your first order. Shouldn't your pet be treated the right way? There's only one way, the Pet Way.
Build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. Remember when we lived our lives with that wonderful philosophy? This is Ron Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. As a nation, we built our economy on that concept. Always try to make it better. We demanded quality, not junk. Make it better, make it stronger, make it more attractive. Our products constantly improved. We were the envy of the entire world. We never stopped reaching for the stars. That's the spirit that put a man on the moon while the rest of the world watched in awe. But then, for some companies, the rules changed. Cut some corners. Make it cheaper. It doesn't have to last. The race was on. Only they were going in the wrong direction. Forget quality. Forget value. It's the bottom line that counts. It has become a race to the bottom. At the Original Mattress Factory, we choose not to run. We keep our prices low and our quality and value high. The Original Mattress Factory, Virginia Beach Boulevard, west of Rosemont 264 exit, next to BJ's.
Showrooms also in Chesapeake, Newport News, and Hampton.
It's Wine by Design at the Contemporary Arts Center of Virginia, February 25th from 7 to 10 p.m. Taste and enjoy 40 international wines from Total Wine and more. Food from Hampton Road's top chefs and live entertainment. Tickets are just $55 or $50 for museum members. Wine by Design, presented by Atlantic Shores, a premier retirement community. With support from Monarch Bank, Oceanfront Hilton, and Total Wine. For tickets and more information on Wine by Design at the Contemporary Arts Center of Virginia, visit cacv.org.
On the 116th anniversary of Virginia's biggest furniture store, Hain says yes to everything. Yes to everything we know how to give. Want every single item up to 70% off the price of any other store? Saturday, Hain says yes to all furniture, mattresses, and carpet. Everything up to 70% off. Want an extra 4 years to pay with no interest? Yes. 48 months free financing. Want everything delivered for free? Yes. Free home delivery. Only Saturday, you get even more. You get a $500 mattress or Oriental rug for free. A queen-size pillow top mattress set or a $500 Oriental rug free this Saturday with any $999 selection. It's our 116th anniversary, but you get the presents. Up to 70% off store-wide. Yes. An extra 4 years with no interest. Yes. Home delivery for free. Yes. And if all that's not enough, pick out a $500 rug or queen-size mattress for free. Saturday, Hain says yes to everything because you only turn 116 once.
My gal is red hot. Your gal ain't doodless. Yeah!
Hey, Stephen in Williamsburg, you're coming up next. Nobody calls the car a guy, do they? It's always she, her, right? I mean, that's the proper pronoun, right?
They're all girls.
All right. Yes. Let's head over to Stephen in Williamsburg. Hey, Stephen, right now you're live on the line with Dan Short from DRS Phantomworks. By the way, their website is phantomworks.com. Hey, Stephen, this time is for you. Take it away.
Hey, I've got a question about your services for painting cars. I noticed that you had, or I've seen a few of baby birds, old T-birds that had some signs that indicated that you were the one that restored them. And they had really good-looking paint jobs on them, and I was wondering what kind of services you provide for painting old cars, and what kind of paint do you use?
Right now, we're running the DuPont systems, so it would be the chroma-based systems is what we use pretty much exclusively. The paint booth itself, I mean, I don't know how technical you want to get. We've got a refrigerated air system with twin screw drive compressors. We use a positive pressure downdraft with heated air makeup for the booth. Running both intake and exhaust filters. We run a 5-stage desiccant and filtration system on the air. So, let's put it this way. If it's possible to get good air and good quality in the booth, we've taken just about every step you could possibly think of. We have not switched over to the waterborne systems. The state of Virginia is not required to do that for another few years, so we're still shooting all organic solvents at this time.
Wonderful. If you had a client that requested for you to use a specific kind of paint, like either a concept or a House of Colors color, would you be willing to go down that path?
Well, actually, House of Colors is sold through DuPont, so we do. I actually consider House of Colors, even though technically, I guess we could discuss whether they really are, but the answer is we do House of Colors all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, because we do a lot of custom work for motorcycles, everything from candies, metal flakes, metallics, lots and lots of different custom graphics and stripes. And so, yeah, we do a lot of House of Colors for that.
And I've got one follow-up that's a completely different kind of question. Last year at the Wings and Wheels show, the AACA show, you had a almost one-of-a-kind vehicle out there that looked like it was an old limo. And I was wondering, what's the status on that project? How is that coming along?
Well, that project is at our new facility. We've done some work to it where that's a you have to understand that is an incredibly extensive project. We're actually fabricating many of the parts for that car. I don't mean we're sourcing them. I mean we're designing and building them. And it's because you said one of a kind. There was actually 3 of them in existence, and that's the only one of that body style, and that's the only one that's, I know it probably didn't look all that complete to you, but believe it or not, that's the most complete example of that car left in the world. So that's probably a 2 to 3 year project, just because of the very, very extensive state of fabrication of parts and assembly of components.
Stephen, thanks for the call. Now, you mentioned parts, Dan.
Yeah.
I would think that, when people are working on cars, that probably one of the frustrations that individuals have, that I'm sure you guys have really buttoned down, is I don't know where to find the parts, and I don't know this part is going to work. In regards to parts, where do you find them all, and what percentage of them do you think you actually have to fabricate?
Wow, we fabricate. When it comes to body panels, there are many, many cars that, if you're talking about a Mustang, a Camaro, those body panels are available. When you start talking about some of the Mopar, even in the muscle car era, but especially when you get out of the muscle car era, or cars from the 30s to the 50s, I will tell you that probably 5% of the panels you're looking for exist. The rest have to be fabricated. So when it comes to floor pans, trunk pans, deck lids, door skins, we actually probably fabricate as much as we buy, because they just don't exist. The last gentleman, Pete, who asked about the leaking window, things like that, there are no window frames produced. You have to custom build window and rear window frames. So we do a tremendous amount of that sort of fabrication. Where we're growing now is in the fabrication of castings. We're starting to build a capability to recreate things as extensive as car door hinges and exhaust manifolds and intake manifolds, some far more complex parts, and we're in the throes of that development right now. Now, to answer the original question of is where do we get the parts from? That list is so long. The spreadsheets and the database that we keep on car part sources. I have spent. No exaggeration. I've spent 30 years putting this list together. It is, I consider, one of the most valuable assets of our company because at this point we can get virtually any part to any car that exists.
So it's like the recipe to KFC chicken or Coke, anything like that.
Right. It isn't. It is not for I don't post this list. I mean, it's probably cost me $50,000 in time and effort to put together. But for instance, a guy told me a little while ago. He said, "Yeah, I don't believe you can get anything," and he gave me a part he was looking for that he had already spent 5 years searching worldwide for this part. And I said, if you want it, I'll get it for you. And he said, I don't believe you, but that's fine. And it was an aluminum head to a Stag V8 engine that was only produced for a very short period of time because they were unfortunately very, very poorly made. And so as a result, every one that existed had been scrapped. Within about 5 days, I had found him that head. Had it rebuilt for him and delivered to him, and he was ecstatic. A 5-year search ended in less than a week when he gave me a call.
That's fantastic. Hey, we've mentioned your new facility a couple of times. Kind of begs the question, what does that not only offer you, but what is the advantage to the customer?
The facilities we were able to do full service restorations, but there were some inefficiencies. We didn't have a large divided facility where we could separate our work bays where we did mechanical work from, for instance, body work. And so there were types of cross-contamination that even though we dealt with, there were inefficiencies involved in that. One of the big problems we had with our last facility is customers came to me all the time asking to store their classic car, whether it was because of a military deployment coming up or, they needed a place until they got their garage built. I had several of those. We had lots of requests to store cars. We did not have the space. When we got a car finished, it kind of needed to leave the facility within a few days just to make room for the next car coming in. Our new facility will hold about 125 cars. Oh. So part of that facility is our showroom alone in the front will store about 75 cars. So we actually have the capacity now to provide both short and long-term storage. We've additionally added some capabilities to our new shop. We're offering seasonal maintenance programs where if you own a classic car, you want to keep it with us, we'll keep it. The tires aired up, the motor running, the seals lubricated, the fluids changed, the grease fittings, all serviced, and all you've got to do is give us a call. We'll have your car detailed and waiting for you so that you can take off for the weekend.
Now, of course, the size of the facility is one thing, but I know that having a very focused, talented team, that's really the heart of it. Where do you find these individuals?
You have no idea what you've just said. It all comes down to the team. People, anyone who thinks that just because they run a business, they're the most important person, they couldn't be, I think, generally more wrong. I've got a team of amazing individuals that they know that for everyone that's there now, there have probably been several others that tried to get there and didn't make it for some reason or another. We've actually brought our team from all over the country. I've got just in the last 2 years, we've brought in people from Connecticut, Ohio, New Jersey, and Maryland moved to the area to work at Fantomworks. Wow. We're developing a pretty good reputation, and it's going far enough that people are like schools like WTAR are, we're on their list now, and they're offering us some of their better students, things like that. So it's a huge deal to get the people, and it's probably my number one focus is to keep great people there.
And very quick follow-up question to dovetail with that. You mentioned students. It seems now in a day and age where, kids, girls and boys, are so focused on iPads and Facebook and Jersey Shore and all that kind of stuff. Whereas it seems, my perception is, that before kids would spend a lot of time in the garage working on their bikes like I did, or spend time working on a car, and now they just, let somebody else do it. Do you think it's harder nowadays to find people who are interested in that line of work as it was, 20 or 30 years ago?
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think, when we were both kids, chances are our fathers, showed us how to change plugs and oil on the cars on the weekends, and they even did tune-ups and, set the dwell and the point gap. Today, obviously, not only do those systems not exist, but you open up the hood and you're staring at something that you can't even understand what's there anymore. It's just a big plastic sheet with tubes running out of it. So there are a lot less people today, but there are still some very passionate people out there. So instead of having 1 out of every 100 to choose from, I probably have 1 out of every 10,000 to choose from. But there's still some amazing people out there.
Quick break, and then we're back with Dan Short and DRS Phantomworks. And once again, their website is, and I could tell that one of our callers had been on the website checking it out already, is Phantomworks.com, and his phone number is 216-1745. That's 216-1745. We're back with Phantomworks right after this on AM 850 WTAR.
There are certain small businesses that thrive on invisibility. Magicians, for instance, makers of camouflage gear. And, well, that's pretty much it. For the rest of you, being invisible is your worst nightmare. So don't be invisible. With Verizon websites powered by Intuit, you can make the internet work for you with a quick and easy way to create a fully functioning website for your small business. Try it free for 6 months when you sign up for Verizon's reliable high-speed internet and phone for business for just $84.99 a month with no term contract required. Call 866-MY-TOOLS, and you won't just get consistently fast internet and reliable phone service. You'll get increased web visibility as Verizon gets your small business listed on over 100 search sites. Call 866-MY-TOOLS today. Verizon high-speed internet and phone, the hardest working network in business.
For businesses who sign up for select bundle plans with new phone line and/or internet service, availability varies. Websites offer fulfilled via bill credit. Standard charges apply after 6-month trial. Activation, taxes, fees, and other terms apply. Offer ends 6/4/11.
This weekend only at the Virginia Beach Convention Center, it's the 58th Annual Mid-Atlantic Sports and Boat Show. All the big dealers are lining up hundreds of beautiful boats at year-end closeout prices, but only for this weekend's show. There is no better way to get a great deal on a 2011 or unused 2010 model. Plus, Anglers Club casting lessons, fly tying tips, free parking, and free admission for the kids. Come see how affordable, easy, and romantic floating her boat can be at the Virginia Beach Convention Center for the 58th Annual Mid-Atlantic Sports and Boat Show.
Hurry into the PetSmart Stock Up and Save sale and save up to 25% on over 1,000 essentials with your PetPerks card. It's a great way to stock up on Purina dog products. Save $5 on Purina One dog food in 34-pound bags and get 3 cans of Purina One dog food free with in-store coupon. And save $4 on Beneful dog food in 31 to 34-pound bags and get 4 free Beneful prepared meals with in-store coupon. PetSmart, we love to see healthy, happy pets. While supplies last, sale ends February 27th.
If you've ever wanted to design your own ring, there's only one place to go.
That's Jared!
At Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, it's easy to create a ring that's yours and yours alone. First, choose from hundreds of beautiful settings. Then select from thousands of certified diamonds, including the Peerless Diamond, the Ideal Cut Diamond, and the spectacular Leo Artisan, both exclusively at Jared.
It can only be Jared!
Find a Jared store or shop anytime at jared.com.
Hey, I'm Peter Decker. You like coffee? You'll love this delicious new blend from Norfolk Coffee and Tea. It's called, get this, Uncle Pete's Coffee. Every bag sold benefits the kids of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's an easy way to help find cancer cures and save kids' lives. I've spent 50 years helping St. Jude. You can do it just by buying Uncle Pete's Coffee. Find it at UnclePete'sCoffee.com. Help the kids. Visit UnclePete'sCoffee.com today.
Attention hearing aid wearers. If your hearing aids are broken, listen to this special offer. For a limited time, Healthy Hearing is offering free in-office hearing aid repair. We will clean, check, and perform in-office repairs on your hearing aid for free. Pick up the phone now and call Healthy Hearing, 431-1999. For a limited time, All major brands and all types of hearing aids will be repaired in-office for free. Sometimes just a simple cleaning is all that's needed. So give us a call, 431-1999.
Before you consider conventional hearing aids that whistle, are uncomfortable, or ugly, you must try the 100% invisible alternative. Be one of the people selected to try the new Vivid Speech technology. It reduces background noise, which guarantees you hear speech clearly. Call Healthy Hearing 431-1999 to try the new Vivid Speech. It's virtually invisible, 100% amazing, 100% guaranteed. Call Healthy Hearing 431-1999 for your risk-free trial. Healthy Hearing will change the way you hear.
Well, I'm sitting here wondering, fat spot on my clothes. Yeah.
Little Carl Perkins for you, by the way, on this halfway to the weekend day. I'm Dave Parker here with Dan Short from DRS Phantomworks. Their website is phantomworks.com. 216-1745, 216-1745. Now, somebody called up and they said, can you give me the address of your new facility? And what exactly is that?
Here we are. We're talking all about what we do. We never bothered telling anyone where it was. I apologize. It's on Hampton Boulevard. The physical address is 2400 2400 Hampton Boulevard. And the easiest way to find it is if you get to 24th Street or 25th Street, stop. It is the building that takes up the entire block between 24th and 25th Street. It's on the same side of the road as the Ted Constant Convocation Center. So, if you're coming from Ghent, it's on the right side. If you're coming from ODU, it's on the left side. But 2400 Hampton Boulevard, drop in and see us.
Now, if you don't mind, I want to ask you a question about you, because sometimes people are drawn not just by the expertise and the great customer service and the great reviews and all of that stuff, which, 4 stars for you on that. But I know you're extremely passionate about this. You had this stellar military career before you started DRS Phantomworks. What got you into this? Why do you like it so much? How did you get all this training?
Why cars, right? Yeah. Why cars? All right, I'll tell you a quick story. It's actually on my website, but I was 5 years old, and I saw a 67 Camaro. So I was born in 62, and I saw the Camaro, and I even at 5, I was just fixated on it. I remember just, vividly falling in love with this car. And when I was 10, I wanted one. And when I was 15, I wanted one. And when I was 18, I bought one. And it was the first car I'd ever owned because I'd been a motorcycle guy up until then. I'd owned mini bikes, and I owned a 750 when I was 14. And then here I am, I'm 18, and I buy this old 67 Camaro, and I didn't know anything about the car other than I loved the shape of this car. And so the guy that sold it to me laughed at me when I told him I was going to restore the car because I didn't even know how to open up the hood. I didn't know anything about it. Well, I started taking night classes, and every weekend I hung out in shops. And 2 years later, when I drove the car to him, and it was a trophy-winning show car. Wow. He was blown away, and that was what sunk the hook for me, was that 2 years I spent working every weekend on this car, and it was a dream come true, and that's it. I've been hooked ever since.
What happened to that car?
I still have it.
Do you? Good for you.
Absolutely. I in fact, my people that know me go, Dan, you've got a problem with cars because you build one, you love it, and then you don't get rid of it. And I'm afraid I don't get rid of cars.
But it's people who don't want to get rid of cars that mean a lot to them. It's people who want to bring back some of the memories that you really specialize in at DRS Phantomworks, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
All right. So the address again is 2400 Hampton Boulevard, and once again, the kind of the guide points, the waypoints are...
We're the entire block between 24th and 25th Street on Hampton Boulevard. So if you're coming from Ghent on Hampton Boulevard, when you come up through the train, under the train tunnel, we're first building on the right.
Phantomworks.com, that's the website. Phone number 216-1745, 216-1745. Dan, good to see you again.
Fantastic beer. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
Our thanks to Phantomworks, AM 850 WTAR.